Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Beauty by Ruby, and we're going to get right into it today by putting some chapstick over our lips. First, I'm using the Professional Primer by Benefit and just applying that in my T-zone with my fingers. And kind of just spreading the rest out thinly. Next up, using my Laura Mercier Foundation Primer and just priming my entire face with that. Again, just using my fingers. Next, I'm taking my eye makeup base by Inglot in the shade 01 and just applying that to my eyes with my ring finger. Applying it from my eyelid all the way up to my brow bone. Next, I'm taking my Lorac Pro Matte palette and using the shade Bear, just applying that everywhere where I applied my primer. Now I'm taking a blending brush and going back in with that palette with the shade Latte and using that as my first transition color in my crease. Now I'm using my Meet Matte Trimony palette by The Balm Cosmetics and going with the shade Matte Lopez and putting that in my crease with that same blending brush. Now I'm taking more of a tapered blending brush and using my Master Palette by Mario by Anastasia Beverly Hills and going with the shade Violetta. Putting that in my crease, using a more tapered brush to create more definition and to get more punch with the eyeshadow. I decided that wasn't enough, so I was going to go in with a pencil brush and just apply that same shade for some more definition. Might look crazy now, but once you blend it out, I promise it looks so much better. Just taking that same blending brush I've been using and just blending that out as well. Next, taking the shade Isabel from that same palette and blending that out. Also, don't mind my lips, it's winter and you know how that goes. Next, I'm going to be taking the brush that came with that Master Palette by Mario palette and using it with my Naked 3 palette by Urban Decay. Going in with the shade Mugshot and putting that all over my eyelid. Just taking that flatter side of the eyeshadow brush just to pack it in. To add a little more pop, I'm going to be going in with Burnout on my ring finger and just applying that to the center of my eyelid. Next, I'm just going to be taking my eyelash curler and curling my eyelashes. I'm pretty sure this is by Ardell, nothing special, making sure to really get into the root. Now I'm going to be taking my favorite mascara at the moment, which is the Maybelline Big Shot, and really getting from the root out to prime my eyelashes for my falsies. Next, I'm going to be taking these eyelashes by House of Lashes. I actually threw out the box that told me the name of them so long ago, but I know they're from House of Lashes. Next, I'm just taking some tweezers and applying my tried and true Duo Eyelash Glue in Dark. Just applying a thin layer across the band and letting that dry for about 15 seconds. Letting it dry is really helpful because it makes it more tacky and easy to apply. but also still gives it enough give to be able to move it where you need to move it when it's on your eye. And again, just using my tweezers to apply these. Some people can do it with their fingers, I just prefer tweezers. And just doing the exact same process with the other eyelash. Don't worry about the glob of eyelash glue in my inner corner. It's going to dry dark and I'm going to cover it with eyeliner anyway, so you won't be able to see it. Everyone makes mistakes. Next, I'm going to be taking my Stila eyeliner. Most everybody knows this eyeliner, just classic felt tip liquid eyeliner, and just dragging that across my lash line to help conceal the fake eyelashes. Next, I'm going to be taking my Lorac Perfection Concealer in PC4 Beige and applying that to my back of my hand, and then applying that with my concealer brush. That's from Sephora. I actually don't know the name of it, but just a regular concealer brush. I'm going to be outlining the outside of my eyebrows to give me a better idea of where to fill them in and to make them look cleaner. Next, I'm going to be taking my Anastasia Brow Definer in medium brown and just tracing the outer lines of my eyebrow to give it a little more definition and shape, and also the inner corners. Next, I'm just going to be taking the spoolie on the opposite side and blending that out so it doesn't look as harsh. Next, I'm going to be going in with my Stila Stale Day Waterproof Brow Color in medium. I really like this eyebrow product because it just looks so natural. So I use it to fill in my brows and then the brow definer to define them. Next, I'm just going to be taking some Great Lash Clear Mascara and just using those to keep them in place. Next, I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation in the shade N12, or N12, forgive me. Going to be taking my Lorac blending brush, buffing brush, and just buffing that into my skin. I also use the other tapered end of that brush to blend in the more smaller areas. Next, I'm going to be taking the Lorac Pro Conceal and Contour Palette. Actually, that brush did come with that palette. I'm going to be taking the lightest concealer shade and using that to highlight my face, and using that more tapered pencil side of the brush to apply it. Again, just putting it in the high points of my face, places I want to highlight. And just buffing that out with the buffing side of the brush. And using my fingers a little bit here and there where I feel the need. Fingers are always good. Wiping off the excess in the back of my hand, and then taking that kind of taupish cool brown to contour with. And again, buffing that out with my buffing brush. Wiping off the excess again, and then taking, you can't really tell on camera, but it is a shimmery shade in the bottom for a highlighter, and applying that with this smaller brush. Next, I'm going to be taking my Mario Badescu Rose Water Spray because I was too lazy to go get water for my sponge, and just dipping that into my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder and going baking. Wetting a little bit more because I thought it was too dry. And just baking in all the points that I highlighted. This made me realize that I hadn't done my under eyes yet, so I'm using that same concealer I used to outline my brows and putting that under my eyes with that same concealer brush. Grabbing a little bit more. And I'm also using that concealer to kind of give my eyeshadow a sharper wing liner effect. Here I'm wiping off the baking that I did, wiping off that extra translucent powder. Taking a Real Techniques, I think it's called a blush brush, and taking my Too Faced Chocolate Soleil bronzing powder and using it to bronze my face. I love this bronzer, I've been using it for years, and the smell is something you can't beat. Next, I'm going to be taking my Sun Bunny bronzer by Too Faced and just putting that on the higher points of my face to give me a little bit of a glow and some shimmer, and I'm also putting it on my neck so I make sure I look even. Next, I'm taking my Anastasia Glow Kit and dipping into Summer and Moonstone with a fan brush from BH Cosmetics and just applying that to the high points of my face. Taking that Real Techniques brush again and going into my NARS blush in the shade Goulue. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing that right. It's Goulue. Kind of reminds me a lot of Orgasm. Going back in with that shade from the Master Palette by Mario palette, Violetta, and putting that underneath my eyes. And going into my Urban Decay Full Spectrum palette and taking the coppery shade called Warning. Taking a flatter eyeshadow brush and really defining my under eye with that shade. Now taking more of a, not quite a pencil brush, but a little bit thinner and less dense. And just adding more and creating more drama on the underneath of my eye. I decided it wasn't dramatic enough and I wanted to go back in more, so I'm just taking more of my brush and blending more underneath the eyes. And I'm also putting a little bit in my inner corners. Next, I'm going to be taking my NYX Liquid Suede in the shade Cherry Skies and just applying that all over. Taking my pinky finger and taking out that inner area on my lips that's covered in lipstick, and just taking a red lip gloss I had from Victoria's Secret, I have no idea where it went, and then taking a brown eyeliner from Urban Decay because I decided I wanted to be a little more intense, and putting that on my waterline. Then I decided I wanted it a little bit warmer, so I'm taking this eyeliner from Bare Minerals. That's also brown, but just more of a warmer brown, and going over it. I actually forgot to do my bottom lashes, so I'm going to be taking my L'Oreal Telescopic, which is my favorite mascara for bottom lashes, and just applying that on the bottom.